Okay, I think we're going. I think we're live. Wait, no, we're not. Now we are. Hang on. Going live? Question mark. Boom. Okay, we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Oh, hang on. Don't know whether I can change that mid-stream. I left my monetization settings off. No. I need the money. Shut the hell up, Sean. No one likes you. No, I'm joking. You're fine. You're fine. Actually, speaking of Sean, I have something to say about Sean very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. Basically, how much I despise him, loathe him acting. No, I'll be getting into it. But hello, everyone. Welcome to a brand new stream on the channel. We're going to be going over several news topics, including discussions of the ratings. Yes, Dennis. You know, not Mike Hawk, Dennis. He says hello. Do me a favour, if you are just joining the stream, be sure to give it a like. That would be ever so much appreciated. I want to go over several things today. I hope the quality is a bit better for this stream, because for those of you who weren't here for the last stream, I confused adipose. That's insulting, quite frankly. To those of you who weren't here for the last stream, I accidentally streamed in 4K, which made the resolution a little bit off and a little bit wonky. I hope it's a bit better now, and also I've ironed out some of the kinks. I haven't actually loaded up the music that I normally use for these streams. Should we go for a silent stream? Well, I say silent, I'm going to be talking, but silent as so much as, I mean, I can have some music. If you guys want the music, we can have the music. It's up to you all. But yeah, we're going to be going into several discussion topics, including the recently, I guess, released viewing figures for Legend of the Sea Devils. Not only the overnights, but the recently published Consolidated. Well, if they recently published, the only place that has actively released them, I believe, is TV Zone. So as we're doing the other topics, there might be more accurate data from Lee Zonatimber, who normally, I believe, is the BBC's entertainment correspondent and usually has rather up-to-date figures on the Doctor Who viewing figures. Up-to-date figures on the Doctor Who viewing figures. Said figures too many times in one sentence. But let's see who's in chat. Hello to, obviously, I said Jean-Luc earlier, Just Joe98, Rob Chalice, BooTube, Atomize, Richard Gale, Luke Bichelle. How are you all doing? Hope you're doing well. You caught the stream. You caught the start of a stream for once. I know. To be honest, the start of the streams are always when like it's kind of the most stressful, because it's like, oh, are people going to come and join? Are people busy? You know. Obviously, I like to start these around the time when school ends. So if anyone is in school, like maybe you can catch this on your way back, or you know, obviously I tend to go for like an hour or two for these streams. I don't like to go too long because my voice gets all but you know, obviously the idea is you can catch them whenever is the hope. Hello to Aid Marsh as well. How you doing? How's everybody doing? I'm doing all right. I had some issues with, you know, the bank, which is never fun. Someone tried to spend money on my account who wasn't me, so that's always a bit of a stressful experience. But you know, we've sorted it out. You know it's not me who makes a purchase if it's not something Doctor Who related. Hey Tharis, how's it going? Hope you're Ace. I'm doing pretty well. Ace is very apt considering what was revealed in the Centenary was it last week? Yeah. Man, Legends of the Sea Devils was a week ago. Crazy. Yeah. RTD2 filming hype. Yes, we're going to get into that. Hi, hope everyone is well. I hope you're okay, Darius. I am doing well. Obviously, as you guys all know, if you do want to donate at any point during the stream, that is an option. You don't have to do it, but it's there. If you want to do it, show me some support. It does really help out. You know, YouTube can be very inconsistent with monetization and stuff like that. So, yeah, any help is appreciated. But with that said, before we get into news topics, actually, I wanted to promote something. I copied it. Oh, yeah, you actually did take my card for Comic-Con. For context, me and John went to Comic-Con together, as you all know, because I did a video on it. And basically, they don't take card when you do the signatures. You have to pay by cash. So I basically had to give him my card so he could run to a cash point and get money out. So that was sort of scary experience. So yeah, it might have been you actually, John. God damn it. Nice, got here on time. Welcome aboard. Have we seen any filming yet? No, we haven't seen any filming yet, but I'll get into what I mean by RTD2 filming stuff in a moment. But yeah, with that said, I want to just quickly, also by the way, if you're just joining the stream, be sure to give it a like. I want to give a quick shout out to, I haven't done this on a stream before, and I promise we'll get into big topics in a moment, but I wanted to give a shout out quickly to the Wild Endeavour podcast, which you can see here. It's my podcast that I do semi-frequently with Jean, who's in the chat. As I said before, we recently covered Legend of the Sea Devils as well as the Centenary stuff. We did an in-depth podcast on experience with Comic-Con, along with Will Maddox, who was with us. We've got various clips of episodes and various discussion points, as well as 4 full episodes for your viewing pleasure. So do us a favour, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the podcast channel. Let me leave a link in the chat. I'm sure Jean will be very appreciative of that. And I will as well. Cool downloads, yes. They are the downloads mainly for the podcast and other thumbnails. There you go. There's the link to... Is the most recent app on Spotify? Yeah, yes, it just went up. It just went up Atomize. So, yes. But if you could please check out the podcast, it would be very much appreciated. We're trying to get it to, to really do well. It's been a really fun passion project. It's been a very stressful passion project, but a passion project nonetheless. And I think I'm really pleased with how it's come out so far. I think we've learned along the way, and you can definitely see that as time's gone on, we're slowly improving our craft. I think Sean does an excellent job with all of the sort of thumbnails and everything. He makes it look really, really nice. So yeah, if you haven't already, do go subscribe to that. Be very much appreciated. We're 1 subscriber away from 300. So yeah, help us break that. But with that said, should we get into some news items? Or is there anything else anyone else wants to ask me first? I was just watching YouTube and saw this vid. I really like watching Thari's vids. Well, thank you very much. You're in the right place. Yes, we will get into the Legend of the Sea Devils theme figures in just a moment. Clockmaster, yes. Alright, let's get into some news items, shall we? Starting off small and obviously building our way up. Today marks 11. Well, not today actually. It was the 23rd, so it was Saturday. But Saturday marked the 11-year anniversary of the introduction of, I believe, the silence in the Series 6 opener, which is actually kind of mental that it's that long ago. And obviously 11th Doctor, very fun little thing there. As I say, I'm kind of a big fan of the silence. In my view, they were the last iconic recurring villain. Obviously, the Weeping Angels are probably more recognisable to the general audience, but I would say the Silence are the last ones that I think, people kind of get hyped to see again, and I think have that sort of iconic status. Because none of the Chibnall ones, I would really say, have, iconic recurring villain status, except maybe, you could have the Kablam Men pop up in other places, but I think they're more cameos than anything else. But yeah, that aside, yeah, really cool that it's the anniversary of the Silence as well as the Series 6 opener as well. I actually do think Series 6 kind of underrated actually, and I do enjoy the Silence for what they are, when I can remember them, that is. So yeah, happy anniversary to the Silence and to Series 6. Yeah, mental that was 11 years ago. I'd have been, how old would I have been? 11 years ago. Well, I'd have been 7, which is kind of mental, but I do remember Series 6 starting. I remember really enjoying it. I remember getting really peeved off actually when they split Series 6 and Series 6 Part 2 into that separate, when they had it air later in the year, the second part. Me and my brother were like, what? We have to wait? Yeah, we were not happy that day. So God knows how children feel now when you get 3 episodes in a year. But yeah, nice to see nonetheless the celebration of a nice anniversary. Next up, the 2nd episode of Doctor Who Redacted, BBC Sound's new audio series starring Jodie Whittaker, has been released. I haven't listened to either episode yet, however I have heard good things. It is something I plan on doing. I might do a separate video just talking about Redacted. I think what I was... that's I've just gotten rid of my live stream panel. I think what I was planning on doing is doing it so I sort of listened to them all in one go and then sort of gave my thoughts on the thing as a whole, rather than, sort of reviewing each individual part as it comes along. I thought I wanted to, because it's one continuous story, at least from the sounds of it. So, very exciting stuff. Following an ominous, fuck, I can't speak, message from Riley Challenger, Cleo drags her brother Jordan to the creepiest hotel in London to find out what she's talking about. So yeah, very, very cool stuff here. I look forward to listening to it all. If you have listened to it, let me know what you guys think of Doctor Who Redacted. I'd be interested to hear some of your thoughts on this new audio series that's been done by BBC Sounds. Theory should be redacted. Sean, I just know it's you using the Universal again. I have zero intention of listening to Redacted. I mean, I've heard it's quite good, so, you know, give it a chance, you know. When was the last time you watched Sarah Jane Adventures? Fairly recently, actually. Annoyingly, I bought it all on Amazon Prime just before it got added to BritBox, so that was very annoying. Oh, it's probably Will then. Okay. Do you remember Don't Scare the Hare before Series 6 aired? I don't think I do. My memory isn't that good. Redacted is genuinely good. Doctor Who is quite a patchwork, as I put. I'm not sure. I mean, Redacted sounds pretty good to me. I mean, if your only issue with it is that it has trans people in it, then I don't really know what to tell you. But kind of cringe. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, I don't intend on consuming any 13th Doctor extended media. The thing is, right, I get it if you don't like this era, but for me, and we're going to get into some of the other extended media that's been recently announced, if the extended media is good, then it can sort of save an era. You know, a lot of people back in the day really didn't like Colin's era. They didn't vibe with his style. They didn't like his Doctor. They didn't think the stories were very good. But you know, Big Finish kind of saved the reputation of the Colin era. So I think, you know, I'm gonna give obviously I'll give Redacted a try, and I'll give what we're gonna talk about in a moment a try as well. But yeah, I think, you know, you've got to give these things a chance. You know, if they're not that good, then fair enough. But you know, expanded media can do a lot to improve the perception of eras. Someone asks, when's the next podcast? The next podcast should be pretty soon. I think we are planning on filming it in the next couple of days. Visible that the vague myth of the Doctor has been reinterpreted and reinvented through 58 years over and over again. Yes, very true. It has been. Okay, there's no spam allowed in the chat, so I'm gonna time out the person who's just sort of spamming stuff. I'm gonna put you in timeout for a second. Is there any mods in here? Actually, why isn't Jean a mod? That's a good question. Jean should be a mod, really. I know Atomize is here. Yeah, just make sure, keep an eye on chat, because, you know, there's some people, you know, saying that, like, you know, them having trans characters is a bad thing, which is not good, and we do not support that over here. We're an inclusive space for everyone. Have whatever opinions on TV shows you want, but let's do it, you know, without, you know, attacking people. That would be pretty good, I think. Trans characters, I love how like two alt accounts of Jean are just running simultaneously. The Wild Endeavour podcast and Universal's. Obviously, I'm not saying Universal's is being run by Jean, but it's funny. Anyway, shall we get into the next item on the agenda? Now, I want to talk about this because I am sort of confused a little bit by this. Doctor Who Flux, the marketing campaign for Doctor Who Flux, won a Drum Award for its marketing, for digital advertising, as they refer to it here. And all I want to ask is, like, why? I mean, I get it if, like, the competition wasn't, you know, that great, but the marketing for Flux was practically non-existent. Obviously, we had Find the Doctor, which was kind of a good, you know, idea. You know, let's sort of, you know, have a mystery that fans can follow and get them invested in the brand. That was a good idea conceptually. But the thing is, there was nothing at the end of it to really sustain people's interest in it. And therefore, it kind of fell apart towards the end. So I am sort of confused as to how Doctor Who Flux has won it all. This isn't the Webley, which was the other one that it was up for. I don't know when we get the results for that, but it did win a drum. I've never actually heard of the drum. What is the drum? Drum covers. Okay, so I don't know what the drum is. I have no idea, but it won one. I mean, I guess, like, well done to it. Best high impact campaign. I did see there was a video they released that went over the impressions the ad campaign got, and they did. They seemed pretty impressive. So my assumption is that it's at least somewhat worked, but I do have to wonder, was it the best move, especially retrospectively, given that Flux kind of had diminishing sort of interest in comparison to series like 12. I mean, that's kind of inevitable with any like ongoing thing. Like, it's probably going to decline, but I think Flux especially, it didn't really bring like people back as much as you'd hope it would. I don't know. I mean, to be fair, they did have like the billboards and stuff like that, which was cool towards the end. But I don't know. For a lot of the year, it felt like Doctor Who Flux was kind of non-existent, which was kind of weird. And the idea of deleting the social media, like, I get the idea, but it was kind of funny when one of their like things for one of the submissions for these marketing campaign award things was, we did a thing no other social media team has done before. We went dark and deleted all our social medias. It's like, yeah, it's kind of a reason people don't tend to do that, because it kind of just gets rid of all the promotion for everything else you were doing. Yeah, bizarre choices. And then obviously with Flux getting closer, we had those little BBC One ident interruptions. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of get what they were going for. I just think it lacked in the execution in several areas, but maybe the other competition just really wasn't up to much when it comes to the Drum Awards. Like I said, I've never even heard of the Drum Awards. So, but yeah, I guess well done to Doctor Who nonetheless. It's nice for it to win an award, even if I'm a bit like, how? But yeah, and the reason I was like, how, actually, I was going to say, we've had things like this. Oop. Someone at my door. We've had things like this recently. I just jumped then, probably scared all of you. No, I probably just scared myself. We had things like this recently, though, which was, how many times did the Doctor say Sea Devil in the episode Legend of the Sea Devils? Which, what sort of, I just want to know what the thinking behind this marketing is. Like, does anyone find this exciting when they're like, let's count the number of times they say the name of the villain of an episode? Like, it just feels like reject CinemaSins content. I don't get what the sort of motivation behind some of the recent marketing is. And like, obviously, Doctor Who Poop did a pastiche of it where they say shit instead of ship, and that's almost got as much likes as the actual Doctor Who post itself. Yeah. Some very bizarre choices, and then we had, if I can get it up, we're seeing some spoilers for some later topics. Earlier on, there was, obviously we had this Dan Pirate expectation versus reality thing, and then, going even further down, we had, where was it? Yeah, the Doctors react to Legend of the Sea Devils, which was just like archive footage of the Doctors placed in random points in Legend of the Sea Devils, which is just really odd. I don't know what the thinking behind this was, but they just really struggling to find things to promote about this episode that they had to resort to, this. Like, I think it's very funny, actually. If I go on to, hang on, give me a second. Let me find it. If I go onto the Doctor Who YouTube channel, the like to dislike ratio on that promotional video is quite something, if I can find it. Where was it? Okay, here it is. Yeah, the like to dislike ratio on this is actually like insane. Let me just go here. Oh, that's... Yeah, you can see here, this is where... Oh, that's a Mr. TARDIS video, we don't want that. You can see here... No, I love Mr. TARDIS, but We don't need Mr. TARDIS right now. But you can see here, 1.5k likes to 2.8k dislikes. I disliked it just because I was like, this is naff, and I just, yeah. What's weird, the weird disparity though is you know, the comments seem quite positive, and then you get to the likes, and it's just overwhelmingly like kind of negative, which is interesting. Perhaps, I mean, like, people will suggest like bots and stuff, but it does seem like a weird video in specific to bot. I mean, to be fair, if we look at some of the other promotional things for this episode, they seem down even on, you know, obviously I know a lot of people say, oh, people downvote Whittaker stuff, and, you know, while I'm not going to deny that, like, you know, they seem kind of weirdly low even for Whittaker era things. You know, that one was 1.6k likes to 1.2 dislikes. Oh, sorry, Jody, we don't want to talk to you right now. That one's not too bad, but then it was this one that was, yeah, 846 likes to 1.4k dislikes, which really weird. It's especially low even when you compare it to, like, this is why I'm saying maybe it is just people didn't like this episode, because if you look at something like the War of the Centaurans clip, you have 1.4k likes to 67 dislikes, which is naturally a lot healthier. You know, I'm not saying that this means anything, I just think it's interesting since we were already on the topic of like to dislike ratios, but I definitely think generally this episode was less warmly received by like the overall audience than even some of the Flux episodes were, so I don't think it's just a, oh, people hate Jodie thing, because as you can see here, you know, the like to dislike ratio is pretty positive here, so yeah, just an interesting thing to note nonetheless. But shall we go into the next topic? What's everybody saying? It was the next. Yeah, I did dislike the Doctor cameo one because I just thought it was kind of bad. Let me just. It's because negative comments get downvoted on YouTube. Wait, yeah, I suppose perhaps that could be what happens. Legend of the Sea Devils is quite a mess. I do agree. When can we expect an announcement for the RTD era? We will go into that very soon. But shall we go into the next topic, which was one of the bigger topics? In fact, no. We'll have a little bit of chat with chat, and then we'll go into the next topic. Foreshadowing is right there to see that Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall's arc is to have her give birth to a child before the what in the story. I doubt that she's going to give birth. I doubt that. There are people, you know, suggesting that maybe Vinder's child's going to be the Doctor. I really wouldn't like that. How is it that we are still excited about the Daleks returning, the Master returning, all companions returning, other story elements repeating, although they already happened before many times? Yeah, I gotta be honest, the sort of repeated use of old stuff for me is getting a little bit old at this point. I know for a lot of people it's really exciting to see older elements. It's really exciting to see Ace and Tegan. I don't get me wrong, I'm happy to see Ace and Tegan, but it's like, you know, there's only so many times you can pull off this trick, and there's only so many times you can have old characters come back and not do a lot before people are like, okay. It just feels kind of empty, and I do worry about that. You have a figure with Rose Tyler on your shelf, and yeah, K9's next to it because they came in the same set. What monster would you like to return under RTD2? I've said one of Syl's species would be quite cool. I don't know how you'd readapt the design, but I don't know, I like Syl quite a bit. I think he'd be a fun one. You know, he's very capitalistic and kind of slimy, so I think he'd be right up RTD street as well. I mean, you could say they're a bit too similar to the Slitheen, but I like to imagine that, like, Syl species are more like sort of intergalactic stockbrokers, whereas Slitheen are more like intergalactic Delboys. You know, one's like sort of, you know, lower scale schemes, and the other's like, you know, market manipulation and stuff like that. That's how you could probably differentiate the two. Yes, I did dislike the vid. Yeah, I did. Because I just thought it was a naff video. I mean, I can undislike it if you want me to undislike it, but I did dislike it at the time. Hi Theres. Hello, two Universals. Man, how many alts do you guys have? Jodie's Doctor is so inconsistently written. Yeah, I agree. I disagree with that. I'm quite upset that Tegan and Ace are being wasted on Chibnall, and it's even more depressing that RTD is returning one episode later. Yeah, there is part of me that's like, could you guys not have waited like one more episode? But, you know, I am glad they're coming back at least, even if it is, you know, under not ideal circumstances. But yeah, shall we get into another topic? Shall we? What is next? Oh yes, the big one. Okay, so you won't be able to see it yet. Joe Martin and Sacha Dhawan enter the new world of audio. So yes, it recently got announced that Joe Martin and Sacha Dhawan, as their respective characters in Doctor Who, The Master and The Fugitive Doctor, will be getting their own Big Finish audio spin-offs. Now, this actually, you know, reveals a few things to us, which we will get into. Joe Martin and Sacha Dhawan enter the world of audio in brand new audio dramas. Big Finish Productions today announces a brand new series of adventures for the Fugitive Doctor, played by actress Joe Martin, and a brand new full series cast of audios starring Sacha Dhawan as the Master. The Fugitive Doctor series and Call Me Master are now available to pre-order exclusively from the Big Finish website. Actually, we can have a look at both of them. Yeah, this just has the generic Fugitive Doctor cover, and Call Me Master. Let's have a look. Do they have any descriptions? Just new adventures for the Master starring Sacha Dhawan, and this one just says new adventures for the Fugitive Doctor starring Joe Martin. We do have some production credits, including our main guy, assistant producer Dominic Martin, which is absolutely great. Great to see him working on the Fugitive Doctor. I know he's very passionate about it. So very cool stuff. We'll read some more about the details here. The Fugitive Doctor adventures first revealed on screen in 2020 in the 2020 Doctor Who episode Fugitive of the June. The Fugitive Doctor is a previously unseen incarnation of the Doctor, who quickly established herself as a popular character with the viewers. Now she's back as Joe Martin, stars in 6 new exciting full-cast audio dramas due to be released across 2 sets. Big Finish do amazing work. They are a vital part of the fandom. I'm over the moon to be joining this iconic show. I can't wait to see what stories they have in store for the Fugitive Doctor. Story details, writers, and additional guest cast are being kept under wraps at present, but Doctor Who fans worldwide can now pre-order both volumes, which are available in 2 formats: Collector's Edition, CD box sets, or digital downloads, exclusive from Big Finish's website. Big Finish chairman Jason Haig-Ellery said, "I first met Joe Martin at a Doctor Who convention in February of this year. When she wowed the crowds with her enthusiasm for the programme and the role of the Fugitive Doctor. Her excitement was palpable. Joe obviously loved the role, and we were excited to create new adventures for her to star in. As the Fugitive Doctor herself once said, 'You're going to love this.'" Producer David Richardson said, "What a privilege to be producing the 13th Doctor, the Fugitive Doctor rather, audio adventures. There's a whole new era to explore in these stories that follow on from Fugitive of the Judoon." So that's an interesting point of note. These won't take place in the pre-Hartnell days. These will take place after the events of Fugitive of the Judoon. So they will be, you know, relatively up to date to the current timeline, although, you know, possibly Joe Martin could travel back across her own timeline in these audios. So that'll be interesting to see how that's done. But yeah, this is after Joe meets 13. An interesting question here that I do have is, will Joe Martin have knowledge of her meeting with 13? Because traditionally, when a past Doctor meets like a future incarnation, then they forget that event ever happened. It kind of gets a little bit wishy-washy, because in, I believe, like Time Crash, like they remember how to do it because they were there in the past. But in things like Day of the Doctor, the War Doctor can't retain the War Doctor can't retain the events of Day of the Doctor. So it'll be interesting to see like whether the Fugitive Doctor retains those events in these audios. There's a whole new area to explore the follower of Fugitive of June, and I can't wait to start work with the gloriously talented and charismatic Joe Martin. Each of the 2 volumes in Doctor Who The Fugitive Doctor Adventures will be released as a 3-disc collector's edition box set or download containing 3 brand new full cast audio adventures, plus a selection of behind the scenes extras. The Fugitive Doctor Adventures marks the first in a range of spin-offs from the 13th Doctor's era of Doctor Who at Big Finish, with more new series to follow. So that kind of gives us the implication that, yeah, they are planning on doing 13th Doctor audios, which in itself is, you know, kind of a good thing, because I want to see Jodie written by not Chibnall. You know, I think that would be good. But yeah, and then we have Call Me Master, hard on the heels of the announcement of Big Finish's new The Fugitive Doctor Adventures comes another spin-off Doctor Who series, Call Me Master. Sacha Dhawan, who has played the latest incarnation of the Master on TV since 2020, and is due to appear in the 13th Doctor's final story later this year. Notable how they make reference to him returning here and not Joe. I think Joe's going to be in it anyway, but I'm guessing the only reason they mention it here is because we know of that because of the next time trailer. Sacha, yeah, I said that already. Story later this year will reprise the role in 6 new adventures on audio. I absolutely adore working with the fantastic team at Big Finish, so when they asked me to play the Master in his own series, it was an offer I couldn't refuse. The Master is such a joy to play on so many levels. I can't wait to see what he's going to get up to without the Doctor around to hold him back. Hold on to your seats, folks. Big Finish chairman Jason Hay-Gallery said, Sacha Dhawan is already part of the family at Big Finish, having guest starred in a number of Doctor Who and Torchwood audio dramas in 2014. Sacha's enthusiasm for the Master knows no bounds. We are so excited with him to work with him and his rather unhinged alter ego at Big Finish. It's going to be one hell of a ride. Producer Heather Challand said Sacha's Master was iconic from the moment he revealed himself to the audience. His performance has such charisma, such madness, and can turn on a dime. I'm beyond thrilled and honoured to be the producer that gets to bring this incarnation of the Master to Big Finish listers. It's going to be very fun getting to peel back the many layers and find out just what makes the Master tick. Each of the 2 volumes in Call Me Master will be released as a 3-disc. Yeah, that's the same basic thing as the Roof Doctor one. Yeah, exciting stuff. And I probably will pick up both of these just to see how the writing differs and to see, you know, what stories these characters are put into without the confines of being within the current version of the show. You know, I've always said the Fugitive Doctor and the Dhawan Master, respectively, are kind of like 2 of my favourite parts of the current era. You know, like, if I had to pick 2 things, you know, for them to do audios on, I would definitely pick, you know, these 2. Someone said the first appearance of the Slitheen, it's their family name, I believe. Then in other episodes, they use it for the species name. Yeah, exactly. Things like that aren't very. Question is, will the Master be the 40th Doctor? Yeah, well, actually, you say that as a meme, but this actually brings up a couple of interesting things. Most notably, that, you know, first of all, this basically means that we know that there isn't going to be any more Roof Doctor or Master content post-Whittaker era. Because, as we all know, Big Finish can't do content on stuff that's actively being used in the show. Hence why they started doing Capaldi stuff after 2017, and they've started doing, you know, Whittaker era stuff now that filming on the era has wrapped and we only have 1 episode left. So the implication, of course, is that, as I said, he's not going to use the Timeless Child elements in RTD2, which I always kind of suspected anyway, but I think this acts as kind of the biggest confirmation of that. You know, I personally do believe we need, like, a new story. You know, like, I think it's important. Oh, yeah, that's okay, Captain Doom. I wasn't offended or anything. But yeah, basically what I was trying to say was, you know, it basically confirms we're not getting either Sacha Dhawan's Master or the Roof Doctor, or basically anything to do with, like, the Timeless Child stuff in the Chibnall era, the RTD2 era, rather, which is interesting to know, but it also means that RTD probably doesn't intend on retconning it, which I've seen a few people suggest that he might. I honestly also thought that was pretty unlikely. You know, it's kind of unlikely that the showrunners ever just retcon entirely the predecessor's work. Obviously, they make changes to it, but by and large, the events that happen in previous versions of the show still happen. So yeah, anyone asking for a retcon, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's more likely what's going to happen. It probably is going to be similar to the half-human thing. We'll probably get a line, maybe jokingly addressing it, and then we move on. And I think personally, it's probably for the best. But as I said, I think it is a good thing that we are getting these audios. I have mentioned before on my Twitter. Let me get it up. I have mentioned before on my Twitter that I do somewhat wish they'd have considered the optics of casting the first POC woman to play the Doctor in a cameo role a bit more than they did, because as I've said before, that is kind of a bit like, it doesn't sit quite right with me. Oh, that's the wrong tweet. This one. Yeah, they really should have considered the optics of casting the first POC woman as the Doctor in a cameo role, but instead it seems like they were just thinking about getting Doctor Who in the headlines, which is a massive shame, as Joe Martin is pretty great. A sentiment I still stand by. I think when you do things like this, you've got to be very careful as to how it's handled, and especially when you're dealing with underrepresented groups in media, it's important that those things are handled with care. And I can't help but feel that in Joe Martin's case, it was kind of used as a promotional tool for the show, which most castings are, don't get me wrong, but that's kind of all Joe Martin's been used as. It's not as if she's had major roles in the show after that. She's kind of just been in cameos. I feel like Chibnall didn't plan on doing much with her after Fugitive, and I just think that that's a bit of a huge shame, really, because like I say, Joe Martin is great, and whilst I'm glad we're getting audios and stuff, I don't know, the way that she was used to kind of promote the show, her casting was used to promote the show, whilst not really having to do anything in regards to representation, it's not great. But yeah, as I said, I'm glad we're getting the audios, I'm glad we're getting the comics, but part of me is just like, it does just almost feel like you've wasted like a massive opportunity. But yeah, it's still a good thing we're getting these audios. I just can't help but feel that more should have been done, or at least more should have been considered when doing stuff with the Roof Doctor than what was. I don't think he'll retcon the titles, Charles. He'll probably ignore it. My sentiments exactly. Maybe you can do a podcast live. Possibly. I kind of hate the idea of a reboot for RTD2. I feel like I don't think we're going to get a full-on reboot for RTD2. I think when people say reboot, the thing is, like, words reboot and, like, sort of, relaunch and, they're kind of interchangeable. Like, I think when people suggest, like, reboots for RTD2, and, like, I think they're more so referring to, like, Rose in 2005. Still having the original continuity, but it's kind of progressing the show without, feeling tied to the previous lore. I think that's what most people mean by reboot. They don't mean get rid of all of the continuity beforehand. I personally wouldn't like that. But I think something like the 2005 relaunch that we got is kind of necessary, because I do think the show's gotten kind of bogged down in its own lore as of recent. And that's not a Chibnall exclusive thing. Moffat did it as well. But it's definitely, I think, gotten to a point now where we do need something fresh. And I think that is exactly what Russell can provide. Basically, we've just gone over the anniversary of The Silence. We've also gone over Doctor Who Redacted getting its second episode, Sacha Dhawan and Joe Martin audios, and the marketing award that Doctor Who won, Heretic. So apologies if you missed anything. This will be up as a VOD later on. As soon as the stream ends, it should be accessible to anyone who missed it. Also, I am planning on releasing the segments separately, so if there's anything you want to listen to in particular that you missed, you can do it that way as well. So What if every time the Doctor regenerates, they are in a different universe, like Rick and Morty? I mean, perhaps. I think that would just get a bit too complicated, though. New writers, new logo, new TARDIS, new composer, new Doctor, new everything. Yeah, that's kind of what I want, personally. That is what I want, personally, but we do have a couple more things going on. Shall we get into the next part of the news? Oh, and also, where was he? He was just here earlier. Steve Savaro, thank you for your message. One of our members. If you do want to become a member, you can also do that. It also helps out the channel. It's like $1.99 a month. You get one of those special badges as Steve was showing off earlier. You also get, you know, some shout outs to every video, which is why you can see at the end of any of my, you know, edited videos, as in not live, you know, you'll get like names at the end. That's because they're members. Talk about the viewing figures. Okay, we're going to talk about the viewing figures in just a moment, don't worry. But yeah, if you are enjoying the stream, be sure to give it a like. Be very much appreciated. Also, you could super chat if you would like. It's not necessary, you don't have to, but it does help me out. With that said, let's talk about some numbers. So, it recently just came out that early signs of the Doctor Who Legend of Sea Devils has consolidated to around 3.4 million viewers. Exact figure from BARB expected later this afternoon. I don't know whether there was an updated figure. I'm going to just check TV Zone now to make sure I haven't missed one. Nope, I haven't apparently. But we do have, that's the wrong one. We do have here, it says 3.34 million on Doctor Who TV, so I assume that's the up-to-date figure. Which does make it, I believe, officially now, the lowest viewed new era Doctor Who episode by quite a ways. Both in overnight and consolidated, for those of you interested. The previous record holder for lowest overnight viewing figure is actually Eaters of Light, which had 2.89 million overnight and 4.73 million consolidated. And obviously Legend of Sea Devils, 2.2 million overnight, 3.34 million consolidated, which is also, interestingly, about sort of like, it's about 1 million less than what Eve got, which is quite bad. Like, let's not sugarcoat it. It is a bad result for the show. There's not really much way you can gloss around that. It is impressive that it got more than 1 million views in catch-up. That is quite impressive, but it is still a poor result for the show. Not that it matters too much. Like, you know, some people are going to be like, sound the alarm bells, Doctor Who's dead. But like, we know the show's future's secured for at least a few more years. RTD2 is coming up. And I don't think the centenary will get this low, because it has the added benefit of not only being a regeneration, but having many, you know, returning elements for fans and stuff. So I reckon that episode will probably have a bigger boost because of it's more of an event. Like, as much as we call Legend of the Sea Devils a special, it is kind of, how do I say, it's not very special if you look at it from the outset. Obviously it has the Sea Devils, but to a casual audience, the Sea Devils haven't been around for 40 years. Like, it doesn't have that wow factor, whereas with the Centenary, we have Dalek, Cybermen, the Master, multiple returning characters, and Jodie's regeneration. Like, it's definitely going to have a higher total than this. So I wouldn't get too worried about this figure. Like, it is a bad figure, but it's not, you know, signaling the death of Doctor Who. I know people have said that I believe it's the second lowest Doctor Who viewing figure of all time, only being beaten out by a part of Battlefield, I believe, that got 3.1 million, I believe, consolidated. But obviously, times were very different then, times are very different now. It's hard to compare those two things, but people naturally bring that up. As I say, not a good result, but it's not the end of the world. Like, you know, we know that the show's future is secured. This doesn't mean they're going to cancel it. You know, everyone remain calm. It's not a good figure, but, you know, it's undoubtedly a bad result, but it's not like the end of the world, essentially. But it is sad, although I must say, if there was one episode that was going to get this number, like, you know, be the lowest viewed of New Who, it kind of does make sense to be Legend. I mean, Legend, I don't empathise the people who had to work on it. It was probably really hard under COVID restrictions and stuff like that, but we can't deny it was rather shoddy in places. The story was kind of you know. and I'm not saying that you know, viewing figures equate to quality, as we see here in Series 10, World Enough and Time, you know, which is widely considered one of the best Capaldi stories. You know, only got 3.37 million on broadcast overnight, with 5 million consolidated. You know, which is still better, but obviously it's not like a huge number, especially by 2017 standards. So yeah, I'm not seeing specials equate to quality, but like I'm not saying that viewing figures rather equate to quality, but what I am saying is, if it did have to be any episode, it kind of does make sense to be this one, you know, is what I'm getting at, I guess. You know, looking at it in the context of when it was broadcast, it wasn't particularly special, even by special standards, you know, and yeah. I know people are going to mention that it was up against Britain's Got Talent, which is a valid point. To be fair, Britain's Got Talent is even lower now, I believe, on the night this broadcast, with 2 million. Then Britain's Got Talent got 5 million, which is still, you know, like, that's obviously a lot lower than it used to be, but like, for Doctor Who to be getting less than half of that, that isn't great overnight. I don't know what the consolidateds were for Britain's Got Talent that night, but I would assume obviously they're higher than Doctor Who's consolidated figures. Obviously, well, they would be, because the overnight figure was more. But yeah, as I say, it's not the end of the world, but it isn't a great figure at all. But yeah, that's essentially the viewing figures. Oh, we've had a super chat. Let's be fair to Eaters of Light, it was aired an hour earlier than usual, even I missed it. Sorry, I saw I had a super chat. Okay, here we are. Oh, we've had a new member. Heretic OSJC, thank you for your membership. And also we've had a £2 super chat from Herbie Visaurus. Series 10 was a reboot of sorts. I expect the same. Exactly. I've been rewatching Series 10 of recent, and people do not give that one enough credit. Really, really good. See, from my opinion, no one knew it was going to be a bad episode. The lack of bad. Yes, no, that doesn't help either. Like, I barely saw this anywhere. I know people have said that it appeared on like idents and stuff, but you are right in that. Like, I think the advertising for this episode was really poor. I think that is one of my general criticisms for this era, outside of, you know, the actual show itself. I think the way that it's marketed is kind of not to its benefit, unfortunately. Darius is such a gentleman. I would not be as courteous. Thank you, Steve Safaro, for the... Is that the $5? Thank you very much for that. Very much appreciate it. It really helps out the stream. Thank you very much. Series 10 is a tad overrated. See, I thought the same, but I've been watching it fairly recently, and I did think it was pretty good. I'm up to Knock Knock at this point. I haven't watched that one yet. But Thin Ice was really good, Smile was good fun, the pilot was a really solid opener. I saw someone on Twitter say the only reason they knew the episode was on because they follow it. Yeah, I honestly, that's the same for me. Obviously, I follow this basically almost as a job at this point, and the only reason I knew it was on was because, you know, I was on Twitter religiously, you know, looking at stuff for the episode. But if I wasn't in the position that I am, I doubt I would have known about it as much. So yeah, they are right. Please say hash Shandycoot. You say it in such a goofy way. Hash Shandycoot. There you go. That's the way I say hash Shandycoot, who's one of our members. And thank you again to Heretic OSJC. Am I saying that? Heretic OSJC for becoming our latest member. I think I'm saying that right. Monk 3-parter is one of the worst of Doctor Who, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Monk 2-parter. I'm not particularly looking forward to getting to that on my Series 10 rewatch, but you know, maybe it'll grow on me slightly when I get to it. Centenary will probably get 4 million max. Nah, I'm reckoning, well, maybe 4 million overnight, but I reckon it'll do better in the consolidated. Bring back River and Jack together. I mean, you're probably not going to get Jack back now, but River, maybe. I mean, the thing is with River, I know a lot of people want River back, but like, I kind of like the idea of the story being done now. Like, I don't want them to... TV Zone posted another tweet. Okay, let's have a look. Well, yeah, obviously we know overnight as well. It's Doctor Who ratings. Legends of Sea Devils consolidated 3.465 thousand viewers, according to released data by the BARB. It was the 25th most watched show of the week across all channels, so barely scraping the top 25 there. It was notably higher than BBC One's 9 p.m. Sunday drama with 3.382 million. Wow, that's actually quite an interesting figure. It was only less than 100,000 higher than Gentleman Jack, which is not as much of an established property as Doctor Who is, and that's almost on the same level, which is quite interesting. Apparently it was the 10th most watched on the BBC. Like I said, it's not a great result, but it's not the end of the world either. But it is notable that, like I said, it did get beaten out by, oh, hang on, I'll just show the tweet on the screen because I forgot to show it. There you are. You can see here, Legends of Sea Devils consolidated 3.465 million views. 25th most watched. Yeah, you've seen all that. Yeah, not a great result, but not the end of the world. Yeah, you're saying it right. You could drop the OSJC though. That's only there as heretic taken. Oh, fair enough. When I say your name in the credits to each video, I'll make sure to just say heretic, if that's what you'd like. This tells me the BBC have a wider problem with figures if Doctor Who is 10th most watched overall at 2.2 million. Yeah, I think everything does, to be honest. I think all broadcast television isn't as doing as well. Like I say, the big hitter of the night was Britain's Got Talent, and that only had like 5 million. So viewing figures are in a different place to where they were in 2005. That is just the reality of it. That still doesn't make 2.2 million a good result. I think if Doctor Who would have gotten like 4 million, then I think that would probably be a good result, considering 4 million overnight, considering Britain's Got Talent's 5 million. But yeah, 2 million, getting less than half of Britain's Got Talent's total is not a great result. Can I just say thank you to you and the other Doctor Who YouTube channels for keeping interest going about Doctor Who when the BBC doesn't seem to want to invest in advertising the show. Well, you're very welcome. I enjoy talking about Doctor Who. I always have done. And you're more than welcome to sit and listen to me talk about it, I suppose. So someone mentioned there, are we getting a Doctor Who 2022 Christmas special this year? That's an interesting question, because, getting into our final topic, not that, this, as we can see here, today actually marks the day that, according to this Bad Wolf job listing for a standby props person, filming on a Bad Wolf project for a returning drama shooting in Cardiff starts today, which most people have kind of expected to be Doctor Who, given returning drama. Not many things at Bad Wolf fit that label. Shooting in Cardiff again, Doctor Who is famous for shooting in Cardiff. So yeah, a lot of people are saying that today is the day that production somewhat begins on Russell Era 2, which is very exciting. Some people have said, in the comments, that it'll probably take prep a while, maybe a few days of prep before proper filming starts. But if this is the time for Doctor Who, then it is very exciting, because a new era is dawning, everyone. Obviously, it's not guaranteed that this is Doctor Who, but it's exceedingly likely. If they'd have said a new drama shooting in Cardiff, then you could probably cast aside it being Doctor Who. Also, you bring up here, the dates are split into two, so you've got 25th of April, which is today, and then you've got the 29th of July, which is, when's 29th of July? A few months' time. And then you've got the 7th of November to July 2023. So the implication a lot of people seem to be drawing is 25th of April to 29th of July, that's filming for 60th stuff, whatever that might entail. And then 7th of November rather to July is Series 14. Now, I think it was Mr. TARDIS who suggested, if these filming dates are for Doctor Who, then it is very early for, a next year release. So that could mean that they slot in a Christmas special in there. That's not guaranteed, but if this is the dates, then it would kind of make sense. I'd personally love for there to be one. Of course I would. It would definitely help bridge the gap. And I honestly, I would prefer a new Doctor to be fully established before we get the 60th, rather than having to wait until the 60th, and having basically no incumbent Doctor until after the 60th would be kind of weird. So I'd kind of prefer we have a new Doctor before we get into 60th celebrations. That's just me. But it is exceedingly possible that, we won't get a 14th Doctor yet, and we'll get the 60th being led purely by returning Doctors. If that is the case, though, even if there isn't a 14th Doctor in the 60th, it's highly likely that if these filming dates are true, we will probably get something on either the 60th or the 14th Doctor or whatever is next very soon. People have mentioned that I think it's the FA Cup final is 14th of May, which, is a very, very, very fitting day, and we know Doctor Who likes to announce these things at sporting events. So yeah, that would make a lot of sense, and it wouldn't even, overshadow Journey before. I've said this before, because, we've had either Daleks, Legends, Sea Devils. It's enough of a gap between Legends, Sea Devils and the Centenary for it to kind of occupy that space without treading on the toes of outgoing showrunner Jodie Whittaker, Chris Chibnall. I said it like Jodie Whittaker was the outgoing showrunner, but she's not. She's the outgoing lead. But you got what I meant. But yeah, very exciting stuff if that is true. It is a Bad Wolf listing. It's an official Bad Wolf listing, which is why people are mentioning it. Obviously, it's not 100% it's Doctor Who, but it's highly likely that it is Doctor Who, given all the reasons that I outlined. So, very, very exciting, if proven correct. Let me go to the... Boop. We are all the next Doctor. Yes, maybe the real next Doctor with the friends we made along the way. I think it would not be fair if the 14th... be fair on the 14th Doctor if they aren't in the 60th. I mean, possibly right, but the thing is with the idea of there being returning Doctors purely for the 60th, that would kind of take the pressure off of a new Doctor, because a new Doctor wouldn't have the pressure of having their opening episode be the 60th anniversary of the show, because that would be a kind of tough gig to take on, to be fair. Rather wait to the 60th, people can't judge whoever the new Doctor is, and rip them a new a-hole, or spam Not My Doctor, or bully them before they even see it, and act, or they even see them act as the Doctor. Yeah, that is true, although, yeah, it's an interesting theories for the next Doctor. Well, if you've seen it, you'll know that I did do a sketch where I was cast as the next Doctor for April Fool's Day. If you've seen that, then, yeah, shout-outs to you, but... I think it would be cool as the opening episode be an extra special. It would kind of be a perfect way to open a new era if you think about it, because historically, at least, some of Doctor Who's been... In fact, I think the biggest two viewing figures for the revival are both on Christmas Day. I believe it's Voyage of the Damned and... The Next Doctor had, two of the biggest figures for... Actually, End of Time Part 1 as well, probably, is up there. So, yeah, Christmas Day historically is a very good day for Doctor Who. Even in the weaker years, I believe Twice Upon a Time still got around 6-7 million, something like that. So, personally, I think that the 14th Doctor should have a cameo in the 60th. Maybe unfair to throw them in at the deep end. Yeah, that is true. I think a cameo would work quite well, probably. Maybe a similar thing to what Capaldi had in the 50th. Just something to entice viewers to stick around for the new Doctor. That might be quite good. But yeah, it would be a tough gig for a new Doctor to start on the big anniversary day. So I can understand if perhaps they didn't want to go for that. But do wonder if the 60th will be in the cinema like the 50th. I hope so. If it is, I'll go to the cinema. I don't know which cinema, but I'll go And I tell you what, I'll tell you which cinema I go to. We can all watch it together, maybe. I don't know. Mr. TARDIS is wrong about the 2022 Extra Special. 3 months is a very long period of filming time for one special. I don't think. Listen, I think if there is a Christmas special, I don't think the 3 months period that we see. Hang on, where was it? The 3 months that we see here would be just for that. Hang on, let me get the tweet up again. Would be just for that. I think that if there wasn't a Christmas special, it would be sort of tied into filming for the 60th stuff. So kind of in a similar way, if you can picture it, like how Revolution was filmed along with Series 12, despite, obviously Revolution airing a lot later than the rest of Series 12 did. Obviously, Series 12 aired, start of 2020. Revolution didn't air till the beginning of the following year. Same goes for Eve of the Daleks, that was filming around Flux, despite obviously happening at the beginning of the next year. So it's not really uncommon for earlier and later episodes to kind of be filmed in one bunch. That's kind of common. So I don't think that necessarily disproves it on itself. I wouldn't say, but I could be wrong. We don't know. Isn't Doctor Who usually a 9-month filming slot? Tends to be, but I know that some people have said that 18 months is kind of standard for Bad Wolf productions. Which I think in total is what that is. And plus, if they are doing an earlier special, it would kind of make sense. Should just bring back Paul McGann, give him at least one spin-off series, or even as a spin-off show like Sarah Jane had. Yeah, that'd be cool. I've always said I want to see Paul McGann back in some form. I think if they don't get him back for the 60th, it's a really wasted opportunity. If they are doing a big multi-Doctor story, bro, I'm just happy for Davis no matter what happens. Honestly, same. It's just interesting to speculate, really, because none of us really know what he's going to do with it. I think we're going to know soon something, but the 60th will be better than the 50th because RTD's writing it. That's pretty subjective. The 50th has gone down in my estimations over the years, but I still do enjoy it for what it is. But I do think I would be interested to see how Russell handles the 60th. Every time something wedding related is shown in Doctor Who since Doomsday equals the TARDIS jumps between the two different universes, and yes, this goes for Donna Noble too. Interesting. Paul coming back would just mess up Big Finish so much. Yeah, but the thing is, the TV show already kind of treats Big Finish continuity with sort of flexibility anyway. Night of the Doctor canonizes the 8th Doctor Big Finish stuff with all of his Big Finish companions, but then in things like the Centenary special, they mention how Tegan and Ace haven't seen a Doctor in 4 decades, which according to expanded media just isn't the case. So the TV show always kind of treats expanded media with flexibility. I wouldn't go as far as to call it fan fiction. Ooh, is that a moth? I wouldn't go as far as to call it fan fiction, but what I would say, someone's going to click that out of context, me with a moth. I wouldn't go as far as to call it fan fiction, but what I would say is, Big Finish continuity and TV continuity, they've kind of always been treated as separate things. So that doesn't bother me too much. Very seriously, I think a woman should be the next Doctor, as otherwise it's like saying a woman was a bad idea. Yeah, I get it. It's one of them things. I do agree with it in principle. It's definitely not going to be Jo Martin there because she's doing audios, and as I said before, due to the deal that the BBC have with Big Finish can't use things that the TV show's currently using to make audios, hence why, you don't get any Capaldi era stuff until 2017, as mentioned. The next Doctor should be RTD, whoever RTD wants. However, I do agree with that in principle. However, there are some optics to it that are worth considering, as is mentioned by Captain Doom there as well. TV canon comes first. Ooh! Biblioteca Nerd has just become another member. Thank you very much. Very much appreciate that. Welcome to the member squad. Very much appreciated. We're getting a lot of members recently, which is quite good fun. I do like having, all your guys' name at the end. It's a very, very fun thing for me, but thank you very much. Yes, more Paul McGann. You can't go wrong with any more Paul McGann. Oh, thank you for the love heart, Biblioteca nerd. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I actually did. I assume that's Spanish. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But I did enjoy doing Spanish in my first high school. But when I transitioned into another high school for absurd reasons, they didn't do Spanish over there. They did German, and I was thrown into German classes with no context of. I'd never spoken a word of German before. But yeah, like I've always thought, sort of doing Spanish again would be kind of fun. So maybe I will one day. Also, both my daughters are named after Moffat characters, as me and the missus love the Smith era so much. Honestly, same. Heretic. Honestly, same. I remember when Theory said he would mod me in Edge of Reality stream, but he never did. Didn't I? Okay. Well, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll do it next time. It depends. The thing is, we've kind of got enough mods as it is right now because the chat's pretty chill. If it did get to the point where I needed more mods, you'd definitely be up on the list. Basically, where am I? Oh, that's a weird thing to say. The listing for the Bad Wolf production started today. So the implication is that RTD filming stuff could very well start today, which is very exciting. German is tough. German is tough. I gave up on it. Yeah, I really had a difficult time. You're saying it well. It's Portuguese. Close. Oh, Portuguese. Thank you. Okay. So yeah. It means nerd librarian. That's cool. Yeah, no, biblioteca makes sense. Bibliotecara makes sense. Yeah, because I think. I know that word. I know that a word like that meant library. The only thing I remember from German is Bazooka meine Opa, which is can I visit my grandparents, or I went to visit my grandparents. The only reason I remember that is because when we were learning that phrase, the teacher put a picture on screen of a derpy looking old woman, and I don't know why, but it just really made me laugh, and it made me laugh so much that I had to leave the classroom. Do you ever think a doctor or a companion will be disabled? Obviously, I'd like to. The doctor's less likely, but a companion, I think, is definitely up there. I know. I think it's Ruth Madley is playing a new disabled character for Big Finish, so the president is definitely there. RTD is the 40th Doctor. He confirmed it on his Instagram. I wonder if RTD has said anything new on his Instagram. He hadn't last time I checked, but... Hi, Theories. Just woke up here in Ohio. Didn't miss much of the stream, did I? I mean, you missed quite a bit, but that's okay, because it will be up in full later on, Damien, so don't worry about that. And as I said, I'm also planning on releasing parts of the stream separately, so... Because I did that for the last stream, and that seemed to do quite well, so... yeah. At the end of Doctor Who Collection trailer, with someone's holding a question mark symbol by the window. Yes, and that was made by Pete McTeague as well, who obviously writes for this era. So maybe the threads for Ace returning were always there. Who knows? It's a mystery. But yeah, I think I'm probably going to wrap up in a bit, but I might take a few more. This time next year we'll know who the 40th Doctor is. That sounds like an Only Fools and Horses thing when they're like, this time next year we'll be millionaires. And they were in the end, but it took a while. But yeah, do you think the writers ever looked at TARDIS Wiki to check continuity? I doubt it for the revival, honestly. I doubt it for the revival. Russell is a big fan of the new Netflix Heartstopper series. Yes, I have seen that. I watched it and it's so cute. Yeah, I do need to watch that. Also, I believe It's a Sin, which is Russell's most recent work, is available on Netflix. So I'll probably have to give that a watch at some point. This is a completely off topic, but will Series 9 and 10 get Steelbook releases? I think Series 9 already does. My collection is looking rather incomplete. I think Series 9 does. Series 10 hasn't had one, though. But yes, I think I am going to end the stream there. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate you all tuning in. If you did enjoy this stream, give it a like. The stream should be up relatively soon after this stream ends. Thank you all for watching. Actually, before I go, now that there's a few more of you in here, do me a favor. I'm going to put it in chat again because I really want people to subscribe to it. I have a new podcast, Wild Endeavor. If you could just pop in, I would really appreciate you just dropping a sub on that. Would really appreciate it. Would really help me out. Thank you all again for tuning in, and I will see you again soon. Okay, bye-bye. Bye.